When I get the bag, I'm copping. Kill everything, no coffins. Put it in the hole, I'm golfing. Shit, I ain't coming, I'm awesome. Ballers with wings like Boston. Chase your paper, no stopping. Couple cowgirl from Austin. Like O3 colors, I'm popping. What up, YouTube? It's your boy Riz Ill back on the channel with another one, and today we're gonna be watching a clip from Rebel News Canada. Canada, is this an official thing? Is this like an official news channel for you guys? But anyway, it's titled "Edmonton Teacher Berates Muslim Students for Skipping Pride Activities," and we're just gonna take a quick look at it.
Talk about this clip that came out, I think it was yesterday, out of a school in Edmonton. And Edmonton, as you know, is a progressive hellscape. This is from Londonderry Junior High. And it is a teacher telling Muslim students that they did the wrong thing for skipping school to avoid LGBTQ pride events because it conflicts with their religion. So this teacher is telling Muslim students that it is wrong for them to hold their Orthodox Muslim worldview in a public school. And in public school, you should be allowed to hold whatever worldview you want, but apparently the only one acceptable in a junior high school, by the way. This isn't even a high school. Like, why are you even talking to little, like 12-year-olds about this stuff? But anyway, let's roll this audio, and then we'll talk about it.
Well, I'll tell you, you were out to lunch. If you think it's acceptable to not show up because you think if there's some pride activities going on at school, right? Oh, that's fine. You know, because I'm going to show my opinion by hanging out at the mall. But meanwhile, all those kids who are, you know, involved in, say, the Gay Street Alliance or whatever, I don't even know if we have that anymore in our school, they're here when we did Ramadan for Lion Time, and they're showing respect in the class for your religion, right, for your beliefs. It goes two ways. If you want to be respected for who you are, if you don't want to suffer prejudice for your religion, your color of skin, your whatever, then you've got to give it back to people who are different from you. That's how it works. It's an exchange. And it isn't like that in all countries. As I told you, in Uganda, literally, if they think you're gay, they will execute you. If you believe that kind of thing, then you don't belong here.
Hey man, I just thought they made it illegal to participate in homosexual activity. Was the clause that if you get caught they execute you? I thought they just throw you in jail. That that's a bit extreme. That's a bit extreme. I need to research that. Shit.
Because that is not what Canada believes. We believe in freedom. We believe that people can marry whomever they want. That is in the law. And if you don't think that should be the law, you can't be Canadian. You don't belong here. And I mean it. I really mean it. And it's not a joke, Manzoor.
It is a joke, Manzoor, because who the fuck wants to be Canadian? No, wait. Hear me out. I'm not insulting anyone. I'm just saying this, right? As a former immigrant, looking to be an immigrant again. I've been to you already know where I grew up, but I've seen on TV and on social media and on different different things, places where people want to belong. Certain European countries where people want to belong and be considered I'm French, or in the West I'm American. You know, being American is very important to people. Some people want to be United Kingdom citizens. I have never in my life heard I want to be proudly Canadian. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hear me out. I have never in my life, that someone wants to be Canadian, wants to belong in Canada, bro. I've never heard it. It's only been recently or so, in the recent years, the latest boom with the whole Drake and Justin Bieber and The Weeknd, you know, them becoming international superstars, that has put Canada on the map. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of like growing up, guys, I'll be honest with you. I've never heard anyone saying I want to be Canadian, bro. Like it's not that serious. No wonder Mansoor is laughing at you, my lady. No wonder, no what, Mansoor, you're right to laugh, my dog.
I said back and forth. You want it, you gotta give it. It just makes me angry. Sorry, I don't know.
She just mentioned, oh, in Canada we believe on freedom. But what about the
Right.
freedom of them that they are not comfortable with their religion, with their belief, to not be there? Can they be free to exercise their right?
Right. Yeah, we believe in freedom. And so I believe in not forcing people to violate their religious conscience to participate and affirm in somebody else's lifestyle. By them not being there, it doesn't mean harm. Why do they have to participate in these things that are not related to their education whatsoever? These are political things that you're making these kids do that will violate their conscience. And for people of conscience, when you're risking their soul. Now, you may or may not believe that they have a soul. You may or may not believe that there's such thing as a heaven or a hell. But religious people do believe that. And so when you force them to violate their worldview, you are forcing them to choose between heaven or hell to affirm your feelings. And that is emotional and psychological terrorism that you're inflicting on these people. And good for these kids to you know what? I'm usually not for like kids mocking adults. I really do.
Emphasis on feelings. It's all about your feelings. It has nothing to do with how the real world works or whatever. You just feel. Emphasis on the feelings part.
Don't like that, but when the teacher goes like, "It's not funny, Nazur," or whatever, because they
Mansoor.
was obviously laughing while this teacher lost her marbles because they didn't come to the pride flag raising or whatever. Who cares? Like, who cares?
cares?
If these kids missed an exam, I want to see a teacher upset. But I doubt that a teacher would be this upset if these kids missed an exam or skipped some actual relevant school thing. I bet she would be like, fine, we don't believe in giving zeros. I'll see you at lunchtime and you can rewrite your exam. She would be perfectly fine. She's losing her marbles because these kids didn't participate in a pride thing that violates their religion. I, however, cannot wait to see how this plays out because these are Muslim students. Now, if she were berating Christian students, everyone would just shrug their shoulders and walk away.
Yes.
She's berating Muslim students. And so I want to see how the left reacts to this.
Oh, that's
because I feel like nature's healing a little bit. And us on the social conservative side, we're setting aside our differences.
It's not just like in terms of Christianity, like our religion itself. It's not just that we have a huge body count around the world off of like shit that we've done to other people in the name of our beliefs, people who follow this faith. But it's also because of like honestly the hypocritical things that happen within our religion and the hypocritical way that us Christians we carry ourselves that has people just shrugging their shoulders to when we say, this is against the will of God, and people are just being like, they don't even want to listen to us Christians. But you're doing it to Muslims. Muslims are serious about their beliefs to the T, bro. To the T. They might have sins, they might sin here and there, but in terms of like following the steps to like how to worship, how to carry themselves, how to have a relationship with God, they are serious to the T. Those are people you can't really question their faith. So she's right. It's gonna be interesting.
Differences, and we're coming together because we have a common enemy, and it is people who want to trans our kids. And so I cannot wait to see what shakes out of the tree here.
That's the end of that. I have a bunch of thoughts that is in my that are going through my head in relation to this. One, I wish I should start taking notes, right? One, I do see her thinking of this as like a subliminal diss to whatever Pride Month thing they're having, because honestly speaking, a lot of us, not just in the West, even in the East, even worse than that, we are raised with this sort of like, hates gay people, hates everything to do with homosexuality and queerness or outside the norm, like hate it, like even using the F word, right? Will YouTube censor me if I say it? Let me not say it because I'm new to this YouTube like reaction content creating thing. So let me not say the F word, but like our first introduction into it was just like an insult to someone to like degrade them in terms of the like calling them weak. It's only later on like me and my friends found out it's like a derogatory term for gay, and then that translated to us being taught how to hate gay people. So I do see how she would see this as some kind of subliminal thing given the way we are raised in our communities around the world in terms of their interactions with gay people. Two, in terms of my personal feelings, I've always felt weird at the fact that even though I am a Christian and I've heard all these things about like being against homosexuality and all of that, I've never really cared. It's never really irked me or whatever. And I've always found myself personally, if I may put my own personal like experiences in it, I've always found myself in a crossroads of like following my religion and just like not bothering people. And I just decided, listen, there's a bunch of shit that Christianity tells us to turn the other cheek to or just leave it to God. Why can't it be like homosexuality if God really has a problem with it? There's things that are far harder to turn the other cheek and ignore that happen to you personally. Homosexuality doesn't even happen to you personally, it's someone else's sexual preference. There are things that happen to you personally in life that it's harder to turn the other cheek to than homosexuality. That's why I gravitate towards like, oh, that thing like there's some gay activities happening wherever. I'm sorry for saying it like this. Yeah, just follow my thought. There's some gay activities happening like over there or whatever. I don't really see the problem, but I know maybe like in my religion they say God has a problem with it. Okay, my religion also says turn the other cheek and like God will handle it. So I'm gonna let God handle it. Me personally, I'm cool. Shit, I can even make friends with gay people tomorrow, bro. I don't really care. I just see it as like a sexual preference. But in terms of this thing over here, in terms of her even saying that when it's Ramadan, like people are what forced to participate and show respect to your beliefs and all that shit. No one is forced to do anything. Like we were never forced. Like South Africa to Kenya, like multiple religions in one space. South Africa a little bit more. It's a little bit more with like the Muslims, the Christians, the Hindus, the whatever, even Buddhists, whatever it is, bro. We've never been forced to celebrate each other's like cultures. Like no one is forced to celebrate Christmas. People just do it anyway because Christmas is fun. We weren't forced to celebrate Diwali, but a lot of us Christians celebrated Diwali with the Hindus in South Africa because it was fun. It was fun to run around with your friends and bust fireworks and eat the foods, even though like sometimes your Christian parents would tell you these foods are dedicated to their gods. You have to pray over it before you eat it. You know, all these different shit. We didn't care. We just enjoyed it. We just wanted to be a part of it. Now, if you don't enjoy it or feel like you're a part of it or whatever, why should you take part? Like me personally, I don't have a problem with gay people, but why should I take part? Just to celebrate that you like to have relationships with people of the same sex, like what's the big deal? Me personally, I've just told you I don't see a big deal with you having that, but apparently my religion does, so I'm just gonna stay out of it and you and God can handle that. Whatever it is, I don't care. I personally don't care. But I also don't care on the flip side of why should I celebrate you smashing, like, I don't know, as a man smashing another man? Like, did that come out offensive? Fuck it. Let's talk it. Let's talk as men, like whatever. Cause let's talk like in general as human beings. Why should I? Will you celebrate me? Will you celebrate me like fucking the opposite sex? Will you celebrate that? Will you celebrate me getting married to a woman? Will you celebrate that? Is that such a big thing that everyone needs to take a day off? Cause Riz ill or whatever. He's in a relationship with a woman. Is that something? It's your own preference. It's your own thing. At the end of the day, the only reason it's such a big deal is because people have like ostracized and sort of picked on, not even sort of, they've picked on gay people throughout the years, that now it's become a big thing in order to give them a place in society and have people just leave them the fuck alone. I get that. But in actuality, it's not a big deal. You just prefer to be in relationships with the same sex or this or whatever, or whatever it is, you just have a preference. It's a preference. It's not a belief. If it was a belief, I could believe I'm gay right now and then I'd be gay, right? I'd be gay. I believe I'm gay. But I genuinely, as a Christian, think that you are actually attracted to the same sex. That is why I don't have a problem with it. I'd be pissed off if I was living in a homosexual world and they told me I couldn't fuck women. I'd be mad. I'd be so violent. I'd be so violent, bro. Yo. Women are a man's peace. Women are a man's ecstasy. You know, they give us peace. So I'd be very mad. So I reverse it in terms of my thought process. I think like how you're experiencing it, and then I just like, I'm cool with it. So what's the big deal? We don't have to. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a preference. It's not a belief system. If it was a belief system, all of us could just, because I know people personally, like whether family, friends, otherwise, I know people personally that in their minds they try to believe that they're gay and they're homosexual, and then they start flip-flopping and like, oh, I'm not really, okay, I am, okay, I'm not. And then it's just, you know, they can't turn it on. They're just doing it. They're just literally doing it for a trend. People are making a trend off of how you feel, how you're built, your preference. They're making a trend out of it instead of taking it seriously. And you are feeding into it with this nonsense. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the post notifications. Let's have this conversation. And thank you for viewing my channel.
That nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay, nigga gay.